Now I'm setting this up for us to do a standard deviation at some point, but so don't start panicking if you haven't done this. We hadn't done it yet. All we were really looking at was the sampling and then starting to create charts and come to a conclusion. Now, I have summarized the data in a grouped frequency table here by breaking it down into decades and how many graves we found for each decade. I summed that to make sure I didn't miss anything. Now I just want to show you just how to be a little bit better with the chart. So I'm just going to do a bar chart. Okay. Now automatically what's happening there is it's graphing the years and the data. So it's making a mess of it. So if we select data and just pick the X and we want to remove it and go OK. So that's looking a bit better. But now we want to add a label. Now I'm just going to make sure I can see everything. So I'm going to edit. Okay. So these are the labels. Okay. Look, bingo, changed. So this is the frequency and this is X. Now you can go in here, just say OK there and OK there. So we can go in here and sort of say, just call it the distribution or frequency of deaths per decade. Labels are important. But I guess if you didn't know how to do them, sure, who would give you a hard time for that? So I am just actually going to move the chart to a new chart and just sort of call it years of death. Now it is easy to copy this into your poster, but what's not as easy is to make it look legible. So there's different things you can do. Do you see you've got the count there? That's quite nice. That's quite nice as well. A little bit of shading. Bleh, not too keen on that. But you've all these different choices of how you want. I don't like those really kind of jazzy ones. I like the ones with the frequency on it if they're legible. I think that one is okay because it's nice and full. I actually quite like it in spite of the shading. Okay, so you can muck around, like we're going to just have to experiment with them. You can change the color. That's just a little bit more work for us to do. So you can, if you were to look at that as a distribution now, it's definitely skewed. Joe, it's skewed towards later years. That is called a negative skew. The tail is at the lower end. So it's negatively skewed data. It's not, it doesn't look like a kind of normal distribution, but I wouldn't expect it to somehow. I wouldn't at all because of the biases that we've mentioned, that you're going to be able to read graves from this era. The areas we went where there was older graves, we could only read the newer graves. So our sampling in practice probably wasn't as random as it could be. Honestly, I'd love to get my hands on the database and then that would be really a good random sample. So I'm going to stop that there. Just a little help with how you might be able to divide up the years and make that a bit better. You've done fine now. You've done fine. This is you're all works in progress here. So keep at it. Don't give up.